like a boss.
I'm gonna teach your ass how to go from boring to interesting with these 10 charismatic tips. Alright? Let's get started. Alright, so since we're gonna learn how to be charismatic, let's first understand what charisma is. What is it being a charismatic individual? For in your case, what it is to be a charismatic woman. Being charismatic is not about likability. Alright? That's not what being charismatic is all about. But rather it's about the force of your personality, the amount of presence that you emanate in a room. And in a way, it's kind of like the amount of attention that you're able to draw. All right. And it doesn't have to be about looks. It's just about the aura that you emanate. All right. So I'm going to show you how to emanate an aura of charisma that people would just want to be around you. Because let me show you an example. Like Hitler, he wasn't a likable person to most people, right? But he was charismatic because he was influential. He was able to grab people's attention. He was magnetic in nature. So being charismatic is about how influential you are. And essentially charisma, being influential, is all about power. The most influential people are the most powerful. That doesn't mean being manipulative, all right? Because being manipulative is not that form of influence. We're talking about making people want to do things for you out of pure desire. That's what charisma brings, all right? It brings out the best in people. It makes people want to do things for you because you make them feel good, all right? So applying these 10 techniques on how to be charismatic, you're gonna learn how to emanate that charisma that influences people. And if you know anything about my channel, you know that my tips are shit that works. This isn't like no run-of-the-mill kind of tip that you get like read a book or know your self-worth, you know, none of that shit. No, I give you tips that fucking work, right? Because I went out there, learned how to seduce women, and these things were the things that I used for seduction. And if it works for seduction, it definitely works by just simply being more charismatic. Because this is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that I teach in my other channel, mindfulattraction.org. But anyways, let's get started. All right, so the first thing about being charismatic is having a conviction. All right, it's having certainty about who you are, your beliefs, and your actions. All right, so let's talk about the opposite. What is someone who doesn't have any conviction? That means that when they talk to someone, they'll be scared, because they'll be scared if they may or may not like them. Their opinions change. So if you're talking to someone, your opinion will change simply to get their approval. So having a conviction is about believing in what you believe in and not wavering simply because you have a different crowd. And that simple fact will change your behavior. That'll make you more dynamic. That'll make you more grounded, right? And when people think of you, they'll think of a congruent individual. They'll know what you stand for and what you believe in. And so you'll be more memorable. And conviction also even applies to your own belief in who you are. Believing in yourself, all right? You believe in something, take action on that. If you have an idea, take action on that idea. If you have some assumptions, challenge those assumptions. It first starts in having a full conviction into who you are, so that you can have a congruent sense of self, so that your words, thoughts, and actions are aligned, and don't waver depending on the people who you interact with. Okay, so the second thing about having a charismatic personality is having empathy. So empathy allows people to feel you and be more relatable. All right, so for example, if you have no empathy, you won't be able to connect with people emotionally. So when you have a lot of empathy, you're able to connect with people. You're able to listen better, because when you have compassion for another and empathy, that means that you actually want to get to know them. You know, you feel a sense of commonality with them. You may not know who they are, but when you see them, you have a good emotions towards them, and you want to get to know them. You see, like every person who you empathize with, and who you feel as though you actually like them, you will naturally want to get to know them. Now, the thing is that in order for you to get to that state, you gotta take hatred out of your heart. You gotta take all the vitriol you have in your heart. You gotta take all the bitterness out of your heart. Right? You gotta stop assuming and judging people by what they see, and you gotta start pursuing the best in people, believing in them because you believe in yourself. And so a way for you to do that is meditation. Meditation increases empathy. And people who meditate are more charismatic. I'm telling you, like, if you start meditating, you'll feel more compassion. And by simply having more compassion and empathy toward other, you'll be able to socialize more, and people will want to be around you more because you have a warm presence. And having a charisma, being charismatic, is all about the aura, the presence that you emanate, and that presence is felt from how they associate with the emotions that they associate with you. So if you make them feel good when they think of you or see you, they're gonna feel good, and because of that, people gravitate towards good emotions. So they'll want to gravitate towards you. But it first starts with you feeling good, because those are mirror neurons. If you feel good, they'll feel good. If you feel shitty, they'll feel shitty. That's why people who are angry or who are negative always attract negative situations, because of the mirror neurons. They only attract people who have those similar kind of mentalities. You see what I'm saying? Also, another thing is don't care. All right, be outcome dependent. Stop caring what people think. All right, so if you're gonna say something, don't care what others gonna think. Now look, be smart about it. All right, know what you're gonna say and know what you're not gonna say. But I'm talking about from the perspective of, are they gonna like me or are they not gonna like me? Just be aware of the situation. It depends if you're at work, but in a social situation, you have your certain belief system that you sometimes suppress because you don't want to offend other people. Sometimes you gotta be honest. Don't care what people think. Express yourself, because that when you do that, you have no filters. All right, and a part of being charismatic is, in order for you to fully be expressive, you cannot care. Yeah, you may piss some people off, but remember, being charismatic is not about being liked. It's about having conviction and expressing it, and they will respect you for that. All right, so another thing is, be known for something. All right, be known for something. Be known for a certain belief system. For example, people know me as someone who doesn't like LeBron James, and every time LeBron James wins or he does anything special that's amazing, guess what happens? People hit me up. People know that I love meditating, and anytime they read a good article about meditation or they meditate, who do they hit up? They hit me up. People know I love basketball. All right, and when there's a good game, who do they hit up? They think of me. They hit me up. When I play basketball, I shoot a very unique shot that people don't take, which is a hook shot. It's kind of like just shooting it behind you, and that's a shot that people never take. All right, and because I do that often, when they see a hook shot, who do they think of? They think of me. When they say, "Yo, I played with someone who did the sky hook," you know who they say? "Oh, is it Alex?" Yep, that's him. They think of me. So having it be known for something, that means that have your convictions, believe in something, and stick to it. All right, and so that could be anything. That could be, if you're an artist, go at it 100%. All right, if you like making YouTube videos, go at it 100%. All right, and so that essentially means, like, be passionate about something, a belief, a way of living, or an activity, and immerse yourself in it. And so what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be known for that, and simply because you have so much passion for it, it's gonna expand to your other areas of life. And so you're gonna have this aura about you. But first, you have to be immersed in your passion and the things that you love. All right. So if it's about politics, read about politics and enjoy it, so that when you talk about it, you could feel good, and as a result, people are gonna feel good around you. All right. So another thing is challenge people. Just to mess with them, challenge them. All right. So when you're talking to people, just fuck with them. Don't again, it depends on the situation. But what I'm talking about is when you challenge people. For example, somebody says, "I'm from California," and you just say, "No, you're not. Get out of here, for real." So you're challenging them. Or someone says, I don't know, like, I love pizza, and rather than saying, "Oh yeah, I love pizza too," just say, "I hate pizza. I fucking hate pizza. Pizza's my least favorite food." And they know you're being sarcastic, but you just say, "I hate pizza." Just mess with them. And so what you're doing is that you're not just going with the flow of the conversations. Once in a while, challenge people. Or what you challenge people is, for example, you ask them, "What's your favorite color?" And they say blue, and you say, "I hate blue." What's your favorite sport? They say basketball. "I hate basketball." And you can actually do that during a conversation that you just met someone, right? And bring that out. Now look, you're gonna say, "Oh, don't do that. That's risky." I know, but actually do that, and you're gonna notice people are gonna feel, "Oh, this guy's a cool person," because you're being playful. You're being playful. Not a lot of people are playful, man. Like, especially as you get older, people get more serious. Like, you want to be known for something. You want to be a professional. You want to have integrity, but at the same time, you want to be playful. Be playful, man. People forget that. The reason why people are not as playful is because they get too tied up in their roles of being perfect and having a good image, that they lose themselves in the role. But I want you to do is learn how to have fun with things. And a good way to do that is to challenge people, mess with them, pick at them once in a while. Okay, so another thing is feel excited about meeting people. When you meet someone, feel excited, and you can actually feel excited. Just feel excited. Think of an exciting moment, and when you're meeting someone, just think of that exciting moment, and then greet them with that emotion. They're gonna feel that positive emotion because of mirror neurons. So when you feel excited about meeting someone, I can promise you, by simply feeling excited, they're gonna feel something different. They're gonna have a different taste to it. You know what I'm saying? Simply because you have a different emotion. Like, there's a big difference between when you meet someone, they're pissed off and depressed, and then when you meet someone and they're happy. There's a big difference. So if you're happy and you meet them, they're gonna feel happy too. You're like, hey, what's up, man? They're gonna smile. I'm like, oh shit, hey, what's up? So you want to feel good, and other people to want to feel good around you. Okay, so the other thing is, make people feel good by letting them talk. Since a good impression is all about how you make people feel. So one of the things is that say less, don't talk too much. All right, so let them talk about themselves. That's why empathy is important. So when you have empathy, you want to know about them. Oh, for real? You play, you're into finances. Why are you into finances? Like, because if you actually want to get to know them and you feel that empathy and actual love for someone, you'll want to ask those questions. So by letting them talk about you, know about themselves, that'll make them feel good because they're talking about things that's important to them. So by simply letting them talk about things they're passionate about, they'll feel good, because most people don't talk about the things that they love, because most people don't want to listen. All right, so by simply listening, even acting like you care, they'll feel good around you. Okay, so let them talk more and just sit back and listen. All right, and essentially shut the fuck up. Right, because being charismatic, again, it's not about talking. It's about letting them. Is about having people feel good, and the best way people feel good is talking about themselves. All right. So another one is be your own source of positive emotions. What I mean by that is most people's sources of positive emotions are through people, through external stimulus. You see, like people don't buy. You don't buy a pair of shoes because they're a pair of shoes. You're buying self-esteem. Okay, until you wear them off, 2 weeks later you buy another one because they make you feel good. All right, so most people are objects of self-esteem to each other. All right, so everything that we buy, we're just buying self-esteem. But little do you know, you can cut the middleman and feel good on your own. How do you do that? By developing a life where you enjoy the things you do. All right, dwell in your passion, challenge yourself. Have an activity, play a sport, all right? But the point is to make sure that your life brings you happiness. Oh, another way you can do this is through meditation. When you learn to feel good without any stimulus, that's what real happiness is all about. When you learn to depend on being happy by simply being here right now, in the present moment, that's what happiness is all about. Because if you focus on the present moment right now, in this moment, you have no problems. Like right now, not 2 minutes from now, not 10 minutes from now, but right now you have no problems, right? And problems come when the mind starts thinking of them and creating them. So by simply focusing on the present moment, problems will dissolve. Okay, and so that's how you become your own source of positive emotions, by being present in the moment. And you can learn through doing that through meditating. There's a book on that, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It talks about being present. That's all you ever need if you read that book. I'm not kidding. And so by being your own source of positive emotions, you're going to be someone who people want to get to know. That's why people love celebrities, because celebrities make other people feel good. All right, and so because they make other people feel good, they gravitate towards them. So if you make other people feel good by being your own source of positive emotions, by your mere presence, people are gonna feel good. And that's very charismatic in nature. By simply saying nothing, you'll be influencing people. All right. So, and essentially, the less you do, and if you do less, and you get a reaction out of people by simply barely doing anything, that's an indication of how charismatic you are. It's not about how loud you are. It's all about how much you're able to influence people and change their state of emotions. Okay. So another thing is say less to be more mysterious and vague about the answers. For example, if somebody asks you where are you from, rather than answering straight away, you could just say no. For example, if someone asks you where are you from, okay, a way to be mysterious is to not give whole answers. For example, where are you from? I'm from the East Coast. And if I say I'm from the East Coast, what are you gonna say next? What part? New York City. You see, so because you're answering but in a vague way that requires them to ask another question, you come across more mysterious. Another way you could do is, if somebody asks you a question, answer the question vaguely, but then ask them a question. Redirect the question back to them. For example, where are you from? I'm from the East Coast. How about you? Don't answer the question, and you cut that thread. And you keep and you do this often, like in the first couple minutes. What's gonna happen is that they'll feel like they know you, but because they talk so much about themselves, because you redirected the question, and because you gave such a vague answer, they're gonna be like, damn, I feel like I know him and I like him, and I like her in your case, but I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about her. That'll make you mysterious, because they'll have the emotion, but they won't have the logical justification as to why they have that emotion. So that'll make them actually want to get to know you, and that'll have like a very mysterious vibe. You know, it's a little trick that I use sometimes. You know, so somebody says, where are you from? I always say that. You know, just little stuff like that. Another thing. Okay, so the last thing is be present in the moment. Okay, I talked about earlier, but I want to re-elaborate. When you're talking to someone, a lot of the times we get nervous because we think a lot, right? So one of the best way to remove nervousness and in a way enhance charisma is to simply focus on the present moment. That could be anything, because remember, your thoughts are all based on the past or in the future. You mostly think of what you're going to say next, later on in the future, or what you said in the past. So focusing on the thoughts is focusing on the past and the future. So that means you're never really present. That's why when you're thinking a lot, things could happen, but you may not be noticing because you're in your thoughts. So removing time, past and future, you're able to be present in a moment. So you got to focus on something that's in what's going on right now. So rather than focusing your attention on your thoughts, you shift your attention to something in the present moment. That could be your breath, that could be your focusing on your feet, or even focusing on the person's voice as they enter your ears. All right, so that'll take your attention from your thoughts to the present moment. And so your thoughts won't be, and you won't be thinking as much, because you'll be so focused on the person's voice or on your breath or on your feet. And when you lose the present moment, which is you start thinking, you just return to the present moment by focusing on the person's voice or focusing on your breath or focusing on your feet. All right, and it takes practice, but the way you practice is through meditation. The more you meditate, the more you're able to use it in daily life. But when you're talking to someone, by being present in the moment, they'll feel that you're paying attention. And it's very magnetic in nature. It really works with charisma. It's one of the most powerful techniques, being present in a moment when you're talking to someone. All right, and it's very rare. And when you see it happening, you can sense it. Like, oh shit, like people have a different vibe. So, anyways, these are the 10 ways you can increase your charisma. I hope all of that made sense. If you guys, I'm gonna be doing a Q&A later on this week. Ask me anything you guys want about me, about dating and whatnot, and I'll answer them hopefully by Friday. Take care.